There are a lot of things that are involved when it comes to data science. And if you don't have any idea how you can prepare for the interview, I'll help you out. So my name is Ronak and I am currently working as a data scientist, and I'll share some of my thoughts that I have with the interview process, and also I'll tell you my personal experience how I actually became a data scientist. So let us get started. If you are new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss out any of the updates. I make a lot of tutorial videos, advice videos, and much more stuff. So I would like to share some of the most important things that you can prepare for in a data science interview. The first aspect of it is the algorithm. So most likely the interviewer is going to ask you which is your favorite algorithm. Like that would be, I would say, $1,000,000 question, because in that you can actually ace the algorithm that you know. But there is a hitch in that. If you say that you like a certain kind of algorithm, the interviewer can ask you in depth on that algorithm. So please tell about the machine learning algorithm if and only if you know about it. So I'll tell you the interview that I actually gave in the year 2019. So it was for the deep learning job, and they asked me about how the way the CNN works and everything. Later on, they asked me to pick an algorithm that I know or that I prefer the most. So I actually went with the logistic regression. They asked a lot of things about logistic regression. All right. So you have to be very sure about the logistic regression. If you say about, let's say, k nearest neighbors, or you talk about, let's say, decision trees, you have to be very sure. You have to know many things about that, because when you pick an algorithm, this shouldn't happen that you aren't aware of the way it works. So if you say decision trees and I ask you, okay, so tell me about Gini impurity or entropy or information gain, or what is the number of the depth that I can achieve, at that point of time you shouldn't be quiet. You should be very well versed with the algorithm you are picking. So that is the first thing, and it happens in almost all of the interviews. Till this date I have given 3 data science interviews. So in the 2019 I gave, when I had least statistical knowledge. Then I gave one telephonic interview in 2020 when I was pursuing my masters, and finally I gave one more interview in 2021 when I was actually hired as a research data scientist. So even in the 2019 I aced that interview. I'll tell you what all things they asked and what you can expect. And the second thing, when you are well versed with the algorithm, the aspect of it is you know the nitty-gritty details of that algorithm. So you should be aware of all of the loss optimizers or loss functions or cost function, you may call it, and you should be also aware of the flow. Okay, so if you are applying for a deep learning job, you should be very well prepared mentally with the deep learning flow. Okay, you should know what is forward propagation, you should know what is backward propagation, then you should know how the parameters are moving within, all right, how well the layers are connected, what are the formulas. All right, so you should be very well versed. Now here is a tip that I would like to give you. If any company asks you or tries to hire you on the basis of the frameworks that you know, please back out. All right, so this is one of the greatest tip that I would like to share with you, because it does happen. Okay, so a certain infrastructure is set when it comes to, let's say, any of the organization. Okay, so they might ask you, do you know TensorFlow, do you know PyTorch? And you say PyTorch. Okay, I know about PyTorch, but I don't know TensorFlow. And if they don't hire you, please assume that you are well on the path and you don't have to worry. The thing is, deep learning or machine learning are such kind of areas where you need to know where to apply what. Coding is just one single aspect of it. Okay, many people do think that I need to be very much well versed with the coding, but that is not the case. Okay, this is not a web development or a software engineer job. You don't have to be super strong with the coding if you are applying as a fresher. The freshers usually get into trouble if they don't know, let's say, Python or R. Okay, you should know one basic language and you should be able to, let's say, implement some stuff, but you don't need to know the entire framework. Okay, that doesn't happen unless the job is very specific. It does happen. Even in my case it happened. Okay, so I knew PyTorch and they asked me, okay, so which framework you are well versed with? I said I'm well versed with PyTorch, but I don't know much more about TensorFlow. And they were like, fine, it is fine with us, because they only require your mathematical sense. They require you to implement those algorithms in a accelerated fashion. They don't need you to know the entire framework. Okay, because code is already out there. Frankly speaking, code is already out there. You have to just take the code, tweak the parameters, make some changes, make some shifts with the data, and make it more durable and robust. And you have to make an application. That is the thing. Data science job is not always about inventing an algorithm or implementing a lot of stuff and writing that in the raw Python. You can use a lot of library functions that are already available out there. So it is fine that if you know, let's say, sklearn, all right, because sklearn is one of the most, I would say, primary libraries when it comes to the machine learning. But in the case of the frameworks, I would suggest that you should know, even if you know a little bit about, let's say, TensorFlow and much more of the PyTorch, or much more of the TensorFlow and less of the PyTorch, it is fine. Okay, it just works out. If they don't hire you just on the basis of the framework and they ignore whatever knowledge you have with respect to the implementation of the algorithms, then you can just back off. Otherwise, and even if they reject you, you can actually walk with pride. All right, because it is fine if you know the nitty-gritty details of each and every single algorithm. Even if we say about, let's say, logistic regression, and if you know the sigmoid function, if you know the way the curve is, if you know how the threshold is handled, if you know the C values, it is completely fine. Please understand this. Okay, you need to have those basics. Now let me share you the interview experience that I had in the 2019. All right, so that was my life's first interview. All right, and that was about the deep learning. So what they asked me was the entire flow of the neural network architecture. Okay, so the way the forward propagation works, the way the backward propagation works. Then they asked me about simple questions which can sound tricky, because see, in the moments when you are in front of an interviewer, it does happen that your mind just takes some shifts and goes here and there. Okay, so even if you are very well prepared, there is a small speck of fear within you that whether you are going to get hired or not. So please eliminate that. Okay, you don't have to do anything. Let us assume that even if the company doesn't select you, what is the worst thing that can happen? They will reject you and you can get another company, because there are many companies out there, there are many candidates out there. If you don't make into a certain company, you don't have to be very, I would say, anxious about it. Like, if you are anxious about a single company and if you have your eyes on that company and they don't hire you, you don't have to be sad, because there are many companies on that company's level. So please understand this. So some of the important things that they try to trick me and ask me, or what is RMS prop? Is it a loss function or a loss optimizer? Now it may sound easy. Okay, so whenever I talk about RMS prop, I'll be like, okay, yeah, it is a loss optimizer. But in that case, your mind is already filled with thoughts and you might screw up. So please be very well aware of it. So they asked me, is RMS prop and loss optimizer or loss function? I said loss optimizer. Okay, yeah, fine. Then they asked me, what is mean squared error? So I said it is a loss function. Then they asked me the formula of it. They didn't ask me what code I knew. This is shocking, because I have gave 3 interviews, and in each and every single interview, I was not even asked that what is the basic Python. Now this might be shocking, because what we think in our mind is something, I would say, different. But in the reality, interviewers don't require all of that stuff. They are like, okay, if you have the mathematical sense of the way the ML works, it is fine with us. And in the year 2019, I was not versed with the statistics. All right, frankly speaking, I didn't knew a lot of statistics. Even in my engineering syllabus, I had very less statistics. They later on started asking me statistics. They asked me what is correlation and the way the Carl-Pearson's coefficient works. And then they asked me what is hypothesis testing. I was completely blank. I said, sorry, I don't know about the statistics, but I am good with the ML, basic ML. Then they asked me, how would you tweak the parameters of any machine learning algorithm? So in the implementation sense, okay, so they weren't expecting me to do it mathematically on the paper, but they were expecting me to know this stuff. So I said, yeah, I would most likely use hyperparameter tuning using, let's say, the Bayesian optimization or grid search CV and things of that sort. And I was hired, but I had to revoke that job offer for the masters, because I found some more prospect in the masters at that point of time. So I went for the masters. I have to revoke that job offer. Later on, I had a telephonic interview in 2020 when one small startup was ready to hire me on the basis. So startup was very, very good. There were much more qualified people. I liked the startup, but I was in my phase of masters. So they said, okay, so we require someone urgently, and we cannot select you for that reason. I said it was completely fine. What they asked me what is your favorite algorithm? So I said linear regression. Then they started asking me the nitty-gritty details of what linear regression is. They asked me what is beta naught. So you can also call it theta naught. All right. So they were basically interested in the regression coefficient and how the way the things work. And they also asked me some basic statistics and probability. So at that point of time when I was pursuing masters, I was having some sense of statistics because I actually studied it. After my 2019 interview, I came to know that yes, statistics is something that can be asked and you have to be very, very good with it. And similarly, they also asked me what is central limit theorem. Then they asked me what is t-test. Then they asked me where am I going to apply t-test. So what is the possibility of applying a t-test? That was the question. So I said, yeah, whenever I don't have the population standard deviation, I'm going to go for the t-test. Okay, so those are small details they might ask you about the statistics. They want to know that you have the sense of the things. Similarly, when it comes to a software developer or software engineer job, they are going to ask you about the algorithms, how you are going to optimize the things, what is the difference between, let's say, greedy and dynamic, which of the dynamic algorithms do you prefer. Then they might ask you the details of it. So if you say Ford-Fulkerson, they are going to ask you Ford-Fulkerson in depth. Similarly can happen with, let's say, the basics of the algorithms. Okay, so they can ask you, let's say, a knapsack algorithm, and if you know every single aspect of it, they are going to hire you. You don't need to have a ton of algorithms. Please understand this. In any job, see, there are two type of hiring procedures. One is using CP. CP is competitive programming, which I personally find it very difficult. Second is project based. So of the knowledge that you have of building the dummy projects, they are going to hire you. Okay, so I always interviewed in such positions where I have to only showcase my project development because my CP aspect was weak. I admit it. Okay, I'm not ashamed of it. My CP aspect was weak, which I later on improved over the period of time because I had to teach some of the kids. Okay, so I did that. So they expect you to know not a lot of stuff, but some stuff of everything. All right, this is the most important thing. I even remember one quote which the great Bruce Lee said, or I think even someone might have said on his behalf, but it was that I am not scared of a man who knows 1,000 kicks, but I am scared of a man who has practiced one kick 1,000 times. This is the most important thing that is going to be considered, because that is the thing. See, even if you don't know a lot of classification algorithms, but you only know logistic regression, in depth, top to bottom, how the things work and how the things are calculated, it is good for you. Please understand this. See, if you have a little bit of theoretical knowledge about what is decision tree, what is k-nearest neighbor, what is k-means clustering, what is AdaBoost, it is fine. The things are going to work out. But if you don't know anything about, let's say, all of these algorithms, no one is going to hire you. Please make that sure, because people have these false expectations. They go to get a job and they don't get it and they are very sad and depressed about it. Please don't do that. All right, please have some realistic expectations. When I went for my first interview, I was sure, okay, I am very much confident with the convolutional neural networks, because at that time I was working with the CapsuleNet. All right, so I had a sense of what really CNN is, what are the problems with the CNN, and how CapsuleNet was actually overcoming them. And similarly, they also asked me some of the details, that what is the number of the filters and kernels that I might use, what is the hidden layer structure, how the way the parameters are calculated, and I didn't know about calculating the parameters. So please understand this, that in each and every single interview, whatever things you couldn't answer, come home, study those things. The reason to study those things are that you will be preparing for your next interview if you are not selected. Please understand this. All right, that is very important, because this might happen that, okay, if your interview went very bad, you are quite depressed about it, and you are just going to go haywire. Okay, you are going to go and binge watch some of the shows to just subside that depression. That is like stupid thing. So work on your weaker points. Even I was watching this film very long back, I would say, I think in 2010, Pumping Iron. Okay, so in that, the great Arnold Schwarzenegger, he spoke about that I don't have any weak points. I had weak points years later, which are perfected. Okay, so this is the thing. You have to work on your weak points. You cannot be the best kid in the entire class. Please understand it. But the thing is that if you are dedicatedly preparing, prepare one algorithm in depth. You should know top to bottom the way that algorithm works. That is the only way to get hired. All right, you don't need to have like 100 algorithms, because the reason is, if you prepare an algorithm top to bottom in a very hardcore fashion, that itself indicates that you have the drive of learning. So it will actually ensure to the interviewer that, okay, if I give some responsibility to this candidate, he or she is going to go till the depth of it. Okay, so please do that. See, consider this, that you should know a little bit of everything. Okay, if we talk about, let's say, a proper data science job, you should have a little bit of background about what really is databases, how the things work with SQL. Okay, if you don't know SQL, I don't care, but if you know pandas, I'm going to hire you. Okay, so you should know one of the tool with which you can manipulate the data, pre-process the data. After that, you should know a little bit about the feature scaling, feature engineering. So one not encode, label encode, how you are going to handle the categorical values, how you are going to handle the missing values. So these are the important aspects, and these are, I would say, the rudimentary concepts when it comes to any of the data science job. Okay, no one is going to do that heavy loading for you. There are many cases where you have to work for yourself. Okay, so that is going to come into picture. Another thing is knowing some of the other algorithms, then how you are going to find the loss, then how you are going to find the score, then how you are going to optimize that loss, and how you are going to produce that model. Okay, so a little bit of project development is also considered when it comes to engineers. Okay, if you are a mathematician or physicist or economist who is getting into ML, these things much more matter to you because you are working on the mathematical aspects. But if you are an engineer, and if you are especially from, let's say, a CS or IT background like I did, it is better that you should know what is Flask or Django, and you should be able to implement and deploy a single model. Okay, so that would be much more great deal, I would say. And even in the data engineering aspect, I would suggest you to learn either pandas or SQL at a very good level. Have a great practice of it, and later on you should be able to do some of the, let's say, web scraping using the beautiful soup. Need to learn how to operate the Linux machines or Mac machines if you are a Windows user. Okay, so I was a Windows user, I had to learn how to use a Linux machine. Then you should know how you can install the dependencies of any project. Then you should know how to configure your graphical processing unit, the GPU, in order to fit the algorithm. Okay, so if you are training a deep learning algorithm which is very massive in size, you are going to require the GPU. So you should know the CUDA. Okay, how the things with the CUDA work. Then it is, I would say, a kind of brownie points when it comes to a data scientist who knows a little bit about cloud. Okay, how you can host the things. Do you know the Apache server? Do you know the EC2 instance? Have you worked with the DynamoDB, S3 buckets, and all of those things? Okay, so those are, I would say, brownie points. But the main concepts that you will have to prepare is the mathematical aspect of any algorithm, which is going to make you pretty much strong. All right, so please start working on that. If you don't have a single idea about what really machine learning is, I have an entire playlist. I'll link that down in the description box. You can just check that link. Okay, that link has around, I would say, now 38 videos till this date. All right, you can just refer those videos and you can be very good at the ML. Okay, so I have covered many of the algorithms in depth mathematically. Okay, so you can just learn any one of the algorithm that you like and you can practice on it. All right, so start doing that. Start learning, start getting hired, and make the best of yourself. Okay, because I am currently working as a data scientist, and these are the things that are actually being given to you by a professional data scientist. Okay, I was in the academics. Okay, so I was working as a freelancer at many startups, but later on I actually, now currently even I'm working at a startup, and I decided to become a data scientist, and I got the job. And this is it for this video, and I hope you might have learned something or the other valuable information from this tutorial. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would suggest you to please subscribe it, okay, because I make a lot of content that is helpful for you, and you can later on refer it. Okay, so this is it for this video, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.